Okay, so welcome. Today we're going to learn how to use our graphing calculators and check our quadratic factoring and our x-y intercepts. So if you will get out Friday's assignment, and everybody, I've cleared your desk of everything but 2 sheets of instruction papers on graphing and calculator. So you need your assignment, something to write with, your graphing calculator, and your 2 instruction sheets. Yes. Which, somebody carried one out. Which one are you, which one is that? The second line?
It's in the first page.
Well, but on the second line, it says, no, everybody should have 2.
I have those two.
It says checking x-intercepts and checking vertex of a quadratic. So, no, this is yours.
He doesn't have them.
Who doesn't have any? No, he's got 1. So you're going to have 2. If you look at the second line, it says checking a vertex of a quadratic equation. And on the second one, it says checking x-intercepts. Today you're going to use the one. Actually, the one that says graphing or checking the vertex, just pass that one up. Pass the one that says checking a vertex up because we're not going to use that today. It's just causing too much confusion, and I thought some of you might want to do that today. Vertex, vertex. Thank you. Vertex, a vertex. Thank you.
That's okay. That's fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, does everyone have a graphing calculator? Is there anybody who doesn't have one? So when you pick your graphing calculators up today, if you'll look up here, don't ever pick this up by this because you'll see these are so old. This is really loose, so your calculator will fall right out. All right, so please don't ever hold it just by this case. But notice that there's a square end on both the calculator and the case, and a round end on the calculator and the case. When you put these up today, you'll be the class that does put them up. You will slide the square end over the square end, okay? And then do a quick check on the back, okay? And that's how all these nubs got worn down, is that people put them in backwards and it tore the little tabs down. So make sure the square end goes with the square end when you put them up today. All right. Got everything? So, if you'll get out your homework very quickly, I know I'm repeating myself. There's 10,000 things at once. All right, does everybody have the paper now that says checking x-intercepts? Just sitting. It's a conspiracy, isn't it? Oh, I just put up your calculator. Come back here with me. See on this. And then get out to your homework class. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so let's get started. For your bell work today, I ask you to get out Friday's assignment 4-7. You've got your graphing calculator and the instructions. So I want you to perform checking the X-Intercepts with problem number 1. This is your bell work. So if you look, the first line says graphing calculator. Underneath that it says checking X-Intercepts. I've taken up the other one. So verify that you've got the right worksheet or right instruction sheet. And I want you to check your homework. The first problem, the answer for problem number 1 with the calculated answers, okay? If your problem does not match what you got on the calculator, talk to your IEL buddy about which one is correct and why. And I'm going to give you just a few minutes for this. I'll be watching from the sidelines. I just want to point out, though, before you get started, I will be adding this recorded video out there tonight, but I've already added, let me find it, a link to some calculator instructions from Friday. There it is, graphing calculator TI-83 plus, how to find X and Y intercepts using a graphing calculator. So this is off of that. And then if you scroll up, there was Friday's classwork. I recorded one of the classes. And then today I've added this. Yes, you can also download Wabbit Emu app, and that's fine, but that doesn't work so well on a computer. If you want the one that I'm using here, which is amazing, it's better than the Wabbit Emu. This is from the TI site, Texas Instruments site. Then you're going to go here, click this link, and when you click the link, it's going to take you to the home instruction page. So it says select calculator in the navigation bar on the left side of the page, so you click calculator and then follow these steps, and it tells you how to download, and it's how I got this one that I use with the class every day. So this is actually from Texas Instruments. It's not Wabbit Emu. Wabbit Emu is a third-party app. So if you just want some kind of little app on your phone, the Wabbit Emu is okay. But if you want the real thing from the real company, this is the real deal. Okay? It works exactly like your calculator that you're holding in your hand. And if you want to purchase these, they're no longer $200. You can buy them at Walmart for about $94. Okay? It's the TI-83 plus. All right? I think Mr. Lanning has some TI-84s, but you... just like me, I don't like to give out the calculators much because some students use it as a crutch not to learn what the concepts are. They just want to program an answer, and that's why I never accept answers. You've got to know what it is you're doing. You use calculators to check your work, okay? Any questions about what I expect you to do today? Okay, I'm going to close that. So after this class, I will upload the video from this class. So right now, I want you to get on the bell work, get started with that, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes. Any questions? Okay, begin. Okay, so the instructions for the graphing calculator, checking the X-intercepts. You turn on your calculator, clear all your RAM, and how you clear the RAM is you hit second function. So right here, second function. You turn it on first, on, and I'm gonna, if you're inside something that won't clear out, you have to press second function and then quit, which is your mode button. Then clear. So turn on your calculator, clear all the RAM out. So it's gonna be, let's see if I move this up, second function, and then you wanna go down to memory, the plus sign, and then notice that 7 is reset. And then you want to reset all your RAM. So 1, and then yes to reset. Number 2, sorry, 2 for reset. And it will tell you on the TI-83 plus version 1.17, all the RAM is cleared. And you want to start out each time, especially on a test, or you're going into an SAT or an ACT, you want to clear everything if it's not your calculator, because kids will go in there and set weird things where it's looking way off up in a third quadrant and you don't know how to get back, and you've need to reset everything so it's like it'll be the same calculator every time. No matter what the person did before, you're coming back to a brand new calculator that you understand and you know how to manipulate. So always clear your RAM. So clear that off, and now it says press Y equals. So you're going to press this Y equals right there, right here. And then you're going to type in your equation and press enter. So let's look. Our equation was right there. X squared minus 4x plus 3. So you're going to type in, and for X you have to use the second button under mode, or the first button under mode, where it says X, T, and the Greek symbol right there. So that's your X button. Now to square that, you press the X squared right there. So there's X squared minus 4, and then back to X, right up here next to the alpha button, plus 3. Press enter. And the next step, I say to press graph and look at the shape. So hit your graph button, and while it's thinking, you'll see some little running cursor in the upper right hand corner of the screen, but that graphed pretty quickly. And it looks like we've got a y-intercept of 1 and 3, but how do we know that's not 1.0001 or 2.9999? We don't know exactly. So we've got an idea of what we think it is, but now to find out exactly, you've got to continue. So you want to press your second function, calculate. It's a second function. When you press the second function, it's a yellow button. What it does is it activates all the yellow words above the buttons. So if you need to quit to make the yellow word active, you got to press the second button to activate that command. But what we need is up here over the trace button, it says calc, that's calculate. So we're going to calculate the zeros of this parabola. We're calculating the zero of the parabola because we're trying to figure out, well, when y is equal to 0, what do we have? An x-intercept. So if we calculate the zeros of the function, we have our x-intercepts. So go to second function, calculate, and then 2 for zeros. We're going to calculate the zeros. Now, this is the tricky part, but it's not hard. It says left bound. So really, let me draw you a picture of what this is doing. When it says left bound, we've got something that looks like this. It's trying to figure out, there's 2 intercepts here, there and there, right? That's crossing the x-axis. They're trying to figure out which one do we want to use. So it's going to ask you for a left bound, something to the left of that intercept, and something to the right of that intercept. So we can define this is the intercept that we want to use. So for this one, because this is to the left of this point, that's your left bound. And because this one's to the right of that intercept, this is your right bound. So choose your left bound, and it doesn't matter if you choose it up here or down here, but you just want to go above the intercept. And to move this up and down, you have to use the right arrow or the left arrow, okay? Not the up or down. So let's go back. So it's asking for left bound, so I'm going to go to the right a little bit and scoot it down a little closer to my intercept, and I'm going to press enter. Now it's asking me for the right bound, so I'm going to go below it to the right of that intercept, just below it, a couple of clicks, and that's good enough. And I'm going to press enter again to get my right bound. Now it wants us to guess, but I'm not going to guess at it. I'm just going to hit enter through that, and it's going to show me, well, this x-intercept right there is 1, x1, y0. That's an x-intercept. So you know that one of your answers is going to be x equal 1. So go to your paper, check what your answer is. If you have an x equal 1 and you've calculated and it matches, put a check mark beside it showing that you checked and it's correct. Now let's go get our other one. Now we're going to repeat the process. But this time, we're going to have to give a left bound is below, because see, it's to the left of the intersection point, and then press enter, and then go above to go right. It's going right bound, right? And select enter. So you're going to choose left bound below, right bound above, and then we're going to define that point and calculate the 0. So let's do that next. Alright, so to do it again, you've got to repeat the process. Go second function, calculate 0, so number 2. And now we're going to right arrow over underneath our next intersection point and press enter. So we've got our left bound. Now it wants our right bound. So right click a couple more times till we're above that intersection point, a couple of clicks above, and press enter. I'm not going to guess, just press enter again. And there it is. Our 0 is x equal 3. So this is our other intercept, x equal 3. So go back and check that you've got an x equal 3 in your homework. So if your answer was x equal 1, x equal 3, they're both correct and you are good. If one was incorrect, then you have to go back and look at your calculations again up here, following it down, and see why didn't you get the correct answer. So this is a tool to help you check your answers and get your work correct so that you understand well enough to make a good grade on the test. So you repeat that process for all the problems throughout your assignment. So you can do it for those, you can do it for these, you can do it for your word problems. And then it says evaluate the discriminant. Well, for this, you're just going to plug in your b squared minus 4ac. You're just going to plug that math into your calculator and check. There's no graphing involved here. So it's just number crunching. Plug them in on the calculator, check against your answer. If they match, you're good. That's what you're going to do on 10 through 15. And then on 16 through 21, again, it's a solve each equation using any method. So whatever you used, if it was, they showed factoring there because that's easiest for this one. Those are crazy numbers, so they use the quadratic formula there. So you can use anything, completing the square. If you wanted to use quadratic formula every single time, that was okay too. A lot of calculations though. So plug all of these equations in and check against your answers. Okay. Now remember, you can't plug it in like this. You've got to put it in standard form first. So that's going to be 3x squared minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. So make sure that you put it in standard form before you plug it in to the calculator. Same thing for that one, and this one, and this one. So put them in standard form first. Without graphing. Now this is just your discriminant again. So actually, you've already done this without graphing, so to check your answers, like if you said this is 2 and that's 1 and that's none or whatever, I don't know what the answers are, I'm just saying. If that's your answer, now plug this in to the graphing calculator, graph it, and see, does it match how many intercepts you said it had? Does it have 2? Does it have none? Does it have 1? Yeah. So check against your calculator. So plug those in and check your work. And that's how we use a graphing calculator to check our work. Are there any questions? All right. So this is what you're going to do today in class, and what you don't finish in class, do at home with the emulator. We will put the calculators up at the end of the class. And so 5 minutes till, remind me, and I'll pick them up and put them in, because I check them all when I put them in, okay? They're a very expensive and valuable resource for us, so we get really picky with them. Okay, any questions? All right, so get busy, and you've got the rest of the hour, and we'll turn these in tomorrow, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put all these steps on the video, but you can start.
here's the first. Checking your X-Intercepts. Okay. And there it is. And then for your vertex, here are the instructions to find your vertex. So you graph it, go to the table, and if it's a minimum, you follow these instructions. So you can pause now. And if it's a maximum, follow these instructions, and you can pause. So here's our assignment. And that's everything. Thank you for watching, and that concludes our video.